Hi, I'm Henning and today we are building a pressure tank using SolidPipe and PART Assistant for Creo Elements Direct. The complete tank will look like this in the end of the video. This is the second part of a 3-part series. In the first part we built a framework and in the next part we will take care of the stairs, platform and railings. Let's start with the pressure vessel. As a solid base we used the framework from the last episode. If you haven't seen the video and want to know how easy it is to design frameworks with SolidSteel, you can find the link in the description. To make sure that the vessel is exactly in the middle, we first draw two 2-point guidelines to determine the center. Then we can immediately switch to the SolidPipe tab and start building the tank. In the Connect Pieces menu, we select a cone that represents the head for the bottom side of the vessel and click on the intersection of the guides we just drew. Immediately we get a preview of the cross-section, can correct the direction by selecting Mirror, and to make the bottom sit a little lower than the later platform, a negative offset is entered. A click on the green tick and we have the bottom in 3D. In order to be able to screw the components together, we place 2 flanges on the cone to connect the tank, which is designed here as a sheet pipe. We create a sheet pipe with the tool of the same name. By clicking on the upper flange we define the starting point of the pipe and directly get the associated sketches that show start, end points and the geometry. The end point was defined here by the length input in the menu. After confirming, the tube appears and 2 further flanges are of course also added here in order to be able to screw the top on. As top we use a toruspherical clipper head, which can be found in the menu Various. Adding it is easy as always. Just click on the top flange to select the reference surface, confirm and there it is. To add connections in a targeted manner we move our work plane over the pressure vessel to create more guidelines. In the project menu of modeling we use the 3D edge tool to project the diameter of the edge between dish and knuckle onto the work plane. This gives us new intersection points that allow exact positioning of the pipe that now follows. With the round tube tool we click on one of the new intersection points. For the length we simply drag the lower edge of the pipe so that's inside of the vessel. Now follows the adjust tool that provides a perfect trim by clicking on the tube and then the head, as you can see when I hide the head for a moment. The next following step are flanges again. This time they are a bit smaller for the connection of the just inserted pipe. Okay, this one is too small now, so I changed the dimension quickly via the selection in the menu. And the second one. We continue on the bottom of the tank. Here too we choose suitable flanges and then change the tool to Various, where we find the component elbow with which we can guide the direction of the pipe to the horizontal. To place the elbow, the reference surface is clicked first. The direction and sides fit very well here, so I can simply confirm. If settings are necessary, they are easily entered via the menu. 2 flanges again. To avoid boredom we add the reducer, which we find in the Connect Pieces menu. Simply select the reference surface to get a preview, make adjustments if necessary and confirm. Now we can finally start laying pipes. To do this we select the pipeline tool, click on the starting point while holding Ctrl and Shift to select the center point and simply drag the pipe a bit in the desired direction. In order to work precisely I define the pipe length via the menu item Reference Element and click on the outer edge of the framework for referencing, and from there another 500 mm more via numerical input. To complete the input simply right click and select Accept from the context menu. These steps of drag, numerical input, right-click and accept are the typical steps for the pipeline tool in SolidPipe and make progress fast, as you can see now. Of course you have to have a plan when you're doing this, but I really hope you have one if you are designing pressure vessels. We'll just reconnect the pipe at the top now, so much for my plan. To reference the height for the next pipe we use reference item at the bottom of the menu offset, click on the top flange to be exactly flush and add another 500 mm. To get exactly above the flange, the next step is to select the center by holding Ctrl and Shift again. But we don't want it to be that crooked, so it's good that we have moved the last pipe up by a defined value. Just define the direction and apply the same offset here. As the last point, we then specify the flange again, and even if this piping would not make sense in reality, we have very easily and very accurately connected two pipes. All radii are currently chosen a bit large with the factor of 2.5. This is changed for the entire piping with a single entry, and then the menu can be closed. Next we will add a nozzle to the vessel. We can find the nozzles again in the various menu. Then simply click on the surface of the vessel to place the nozzle somewhere. To work accurately, we first select the reference for the height and then the reference for the orientation. From these references we enter the offsets numerically using the menu. Since the nozzle is currently sitting on the surface without an opening to the inside of the tank, we activate the punch option and enter the desired diameter of the hole. Now we want to connect the new nozzle to the existing pipe. To do this, we first insert a T-piece. T-pieces can be found in the various menu and are inserted in exactly the same way as you have already assumed. Via a reference, a click, a few numerical entries. No surprises here. We have seen the addition of flanges many times now, let's fast forward a bit. Now comes something new again, namely the pipe to point tool. This is the convenient tool to connect two pipe connections with a few clicks. Simply click on both reference surfaces, enter an offset if desired, confirm, done. The work plane with the guides for the tank and the pipes can now be deleted. To attach the tank to the framework, we now place a few claws. Of course, this could be done with SolidSteel, but since not everyone who constructs vessels has the appropriate license for that, I use the smallest possible solution in form of the PART Assistant. We create a new work plane and project the guidelines of all involved components onto it. We then switch to the view from the current work plane in order to look at everything from above. This way we can easily add guides for the claws. Now we switch to the PART Assistant tab, select the profile tool and choose the desired profile. Then first click on the start point and then either drag the length into the tank or define it via the endpoint of the guideline. In both cases, the vertical position of the claw must still be corrected via the axis. We now do this all around at the remaining positions. If you look closely at the connection of the claw to the rounding of the tank, you can see that it's not neatly fitted yet. Don't worry, there's of course an appropriate solution. The Adjust tool is your friend here. Just click first on the claw, then on the tube of the tank and then the green hook and it fits perfectly. 3 more to go. Now we should bolt the flanges so that these details will also be perfect. Before we do that, we first create an assembly from all the parts we have drawn so far. We no longer need the work plane and we can delete it. For the bolting we use the Create tool of the PART Assistant. We follow the sequence in the menu and start with the selection of a center point of a hole, for which we hold Ctrl and Shift during the selection as already known. Then we select the first face and after that the second face, which defines the direction and the length of the screw. After that we can select the right screw, including washers and nut, from the extensive library via the menu item Part Selection. Because we don't want to insert the screws individually, we select Radial here below for pattern. In the menu that then appears, we define the axis of rotation and the number of screws, and the blink of an eye later we are finished with the entire flange. We now repeat this for all the other flanges and we are done, enjoying the fact that it took so little time to design a pressure tank with piping and all the details. That's it for the second part. Thank you for watching to the end. The best thing is to try SolidPipe and PART Assistant yourself and see how easy and fast our apps for Creo Elements Direct are. Hope to see you again in the next video, and as always, comment, like and subscribe if you found the video useful. Bye, see you next time!